Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPTA 20, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome back to The Gaily Show, the only daily LGBTQ progressive radio news and talk show in the United States. I am your host, John Parker. We are 33 minutes after the hour. A couple weeks ago, we broadcasted live from the Home Help Hope Health Minneapolis Mayoral Candidate and Voter Education Forum. And then AM 950, we aired that full forum live. You can watch that recording on our YouTube channel. But we here at The Gaily Show wanted to continue that coverage. So we are inviting candidates running for Minneapolis mayor to join us for a conversation specific to the LGBTQ community. We start those interviews today where each candidate will join us. We'll be giving them the same 4 questions and giving them the same amount of time to answer them. Our guest today is Jazz Hampton. Jazz is a proud husband, father of 3, community advocate, attorney, and small business owner running for mayor of Minneapolis. Jazz believes that leadership starts with love, courage, and community. A lifelong advocate for equality and justice, Jazz proudly stands alongside the LGBTQI2S+ community to support inclusive policies and amplify voices too often left out. Mr. Hampton, thank you for joining us today.
Sorry that the intro was so long. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries. Give us the candidate bios. We will read them. All right. So can we start by sharing with our listeners the specific actions that you've taken in your career that support the LGBTQ community?
Yeah, I think there's always actions, whether it's personally, professionally, or politically, right? And this will be my first step into elected office. So on the community and personal level, just a constant ally in the work. When I started the organization that I currently run, I'm in our office right now. It's called Turn Signal. It's an app to connect drivers to an attorney on a video call instantly when they've been pulled over to protect their rights and to ensure that everyone gets home safely. The impetus, the reason that we started this was for our marginalized communities that oftentimes disproportionately are infected by interactions with law enforcement. That is how we had this in mind. And actually, one of the most proud portions of that is the work to actively ensure that we are finding marginalized communities that can't afford it and also make sure that we're covering their memberships as well. So reaching out to communities is really important to provide this service. And then beyond that, I've been a part of several nonprofit organizations that are working to do all of these steps, including the work that we're doing over at the Minneapolis Foundation and trying to ensure that whether it's education or otherwise, we are pushing for equity, including what we're doing with education materials within schools. I'm a parent of 3 Minneapolis public school kids, and I want to ensure that when they're walking into class, they know that they're going to get a robust background and education, and not something that is going to be stifled by other people trying to prevent us from educating our children fully on the beauty of the diversity that exists not only in this city but across the country. Those are some of the more professional things that I've been doing. Obviously, been a part of every organization from Lavender Bar as an attorney and consistently meeting and working with those organizations, but also personally in my life. This is my own personal beliefs and what I've been chasing as well. Every year we have a pride party at our house, and 3 years ago, I think, was the first year that we had a drag children's book reading at my house for all the kids in the neighborhood and our children's friends, because it was when the book ban was like really kicking off, and drag show pushback for some reason was more important than all of the needs that we have in this country. And so we wanted to do that in our own home, and we've had that party annually every year. Those are just also the ways that we try to show up in our personal life, my wife and I, to be advocates and allies.
Thank you for that. My next question is, in 2024, according to exit polls, 86% of LGBTQ voters cast their ballots for the Harris-Walz ticket. However, since November, pollsters for Legacy Media and the Democratic Party, think tanks, Popular Democratic Governor, have called for centrists and moderates and independents, as well as the Democratic Party, to either downplay LGBTQ rights or to just stop supporting certain rights altogether. And this comes at a time when the LGBTQ community is facing the Trump administration, who is banning LGBTQ school curriculum, ending educational support services for LGBTQ students, revoking federal funding to colleges offering pro-LGBTQ services, banning transgender service members. As mayor, how would you reconcile this fight between those who are saying, let's downplay the LGBTQ community and LGBTQ rights, and also we're at a time when the Trump administration is coming at the community at all levels that it can?
Yeah, I think I'm proud of the state of Minnesota writ large. We are still a sanctuary state for so many of our neighbors. And here's the thing: if what you're saying is true, which I believe it is, if what you're saying is true, that means we have to be even more zealous advocates for our community in this way. If other states are going to shy away from it, if universities are going to shy away from it, if people are going to try to hide the important work that we're doing, that means we have to do it at an even higher level. And that means we have to also be the Northern Star, no pun intended, for the work across the country and show people that you can do this work and it will not hurt us, both politically, which I think is a misnomer, and also in the actual care and services that we're delivering. Listen, I think we have an incredible leader in Sarah McBride, who is proving this time and time again as she's out here advocating and saying, yes, we're going to keep doing this work. And I can also talk about this other policy that has to do with war crimes that are happening or anything else that's happening. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. And so to pretend like we have to downplay this important work in a time when it's more necessary than ever, I think is nonsensical. You can do this work and here's what I also believe: this is all connected. If we're saying, no, we're going to focus on mental health, it's like, well, mental health is going to deteriorate for a huge portion of our community if we're not standing up and showing them that we're here on their behalf. This is all interconnected. So pretend like this work is isolated or has nothing to do with the rest is disingenuous. And that's why we have to keep doing the fighting. When it comes to universities, when it comes to definitely to providing care, medical care, incredibly important. And then also ensuring that when people are showing up to come after our neighbors, that we are standing up right next to them, whether it is our immigrant community, which we have seen a lot recently, or our community from the LGBTQIA2S+ community. We have to be there.
We are talking with Jazz Hampton, who is a candidate for Minneapolis mayor. Early voting is underway. You can find your ballot and polling location at vote.minneapolismn.gov. There you can also find info on how to register to vote. Election day is November 4th. Mr. Hampton, you were talking about medical there, and our news partner, Windy City Times, has discovered that in Chicago, no major hospital provides gender-affirming care anymore to trans youth because their federal funding was threatened by the Trump administration. In Michigan, their attorney general put hospital systems on notice, saying that the availability of federal funds from the Trump administration does not determine whether or not those healthcare providers should comply with state laws. And in Pennsylvania, there's been a complaint filed by trans kids with that state's Human Rights Commission against a hospital system that stopped providing them care. As mayor, how would you support healthcare systems in Minneapolis to continue providing gender-affirming healthcare and hold them accountable if they stop?
Yeah, I think the first thing is if Donald Trump can make threats that are counter to what generally our entire city and state know to be good and the right things to be doing, then we can do the same thing. We need to be standing up and saying, these are the strings that we are going to pull if our hospital systems are not providing the care that they say they have before, that they have medically said was necessary before, and now are pretending like it isn't. We have to ensure that we're holding their feet to the fire in the same way. But here's the good news that I've seen thus far. We have been doing great work and not been pulling back from it. I've talked to a doctor personally he's a close friend, and he is saying, I am seeing more people come here from out of state than ever before. And so the need for us to keep doing the work is more important than ever. And he's working in this day in and day out every single day. And so, yes, we not only need to say that we're going to hold people accountable if they try to pull away, we need to encourage them and do the steps to make sure that we're supporting them in this moment as well. The same thing is true if people are going to worry about cutting funding from schools or from hospitals. If someone else is going to lose funding because they're doing the right thing that the residents of Minneapolis know to be true, then we have to step up and be a part of the work and the solutions as well. So as mayor, you have to work cross-functionally with our Hennepin County and our state partners. The Attorney General is already in a great place fighting for us and making sure that our city attorney and our other partners are doing the legal fighting as well. But then when it comes to our nonprofits, the state of Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes and the land of 10,000 nonprofits. And we need to collect those resources in this moment to make sure that they're helping us fund any gap that is present. That's the way we show up for our neighbors, and we always have, and we need to keep doing that work. And as mayor, that's the kind of pressure I want to ensure that we're exerting. But the good news is, I don't think we have to exert pressure. Whenever someone comes for our neighbors, we seem to stand up for them, and we're going to continue doing that in Minneapolis.
Thank you for that. Actually, my final question to you today, this is going so fast, is what specific actions would you take as mayor to stand up to the Trump administration's anti-LGBTQ executive orders, which includes freezing federal funding to force our compliance? And he has been going after a number of cities, as we have seen.
Yeah. Again, we have to lean into our nonprofit and our state and county partners to ensure that if any funding is being frozen, we are fighting to get more of those dollars in the door if it's not going to come from the federal government. But as a lawyer, I know that the worst thing you can do is wait for it to happen to you. We have to proactively do the work by filing lawsuits in the state of Minnesota and starting here in Hampton County, saying that this is not a legal standard that is set by the Constitution or by any case law before it, and that we are going to fight that tooth and nail on the front end. It's much easier to prevent them from taking funding than it is to try to claw it back once it's already gone. And so we have to be good partners with our county, with our city attorney's office, all the way up to the attorney general to fight these lawsuits head on before it even gets to that point. Listen, the job of the city attorney in this moment is to ensure that we're protecting our residents to the highest of our ability. And that means people always say like a rising tide will lift all boats, but like some boats have a hole in it right now. So a rising tide is actually going to make things worse. And so we have to focus in on where that hole is and plug that hole first. And that's the work that we have to be doing in the city of Minneapolis with our county attorney's office. We have to fight those legal battles up front. And then if something does come and we do lose funding, again, that's when we go to step B of rallying around those organizations and those communities with dollars from this community. And I know that we can do it because we've done it before. I've seen it, whether it's the 35W bridge collapse and how I worked under that bridge the day before, under it earlier in the day that it had collapsed. I saw the way that every restaurant, every organization, every Red Cross, all of these organizations coming to rally behind the folks and that part of the community. And we've done the same thing in various other situations in the city of Minneapolis. It's incumbent upon us to do that. And frankly, to show folks that not only are we going to do it for our residents, but if they want to come here as a safe haven, we'll do it on their behalf as well.
We are talking with Jazz Hampton, who is a candidate for Minneapolis mayor. Early voting is underway. You can find your ballot and polling location at vote.minneapolismn.gov. There you can also find info on how to register to vote. Election day is on November 4th. I still have I'm done with my official questions, but I have a couple of minutes left before the break. So would you like to share with voters why you are running for mayor?
Yeah, I've lived within a few miles of where I'm in Northeast Minneapolis right now. I've lived within a few miles of here for my entire life, undergrad, law school, all the way back through childhood. I've seen the potential of what this city has to offer, and I know that we aren't quite living up to that potential. And I know that we can collectively do that. But what has been felt by me, and I know so many residents that I talk to, is it feels like we're in like a gridlock or our tires stuck in stone and it's just spinning. And the tension between city leadership, frankly, is leading to us not getting any more traction. And we have to inject something new. In this case, I would hope that you vote for me to be that something new to get traction within this city. I've sat down with every single sitting city council member for breakfast, coffee, or a few of them for a beer. And when I talk to them, I say, listen, we might disagree on policy A and B, and we actually walked through those policies. But here's what I promise you. We're arguing about the route to get to the same end destination. So as long as you'll get in the car and ride with me, we will do this work together. And that's why some of those city council members who disagree with me on very specific policy issues have still endorsed me as their first, second, or third choice, because they know that I'm going to work with them regardless of minor discrepancies on how we get to the end goal. That's what we need in the city of Minneapolis. We don't need things that would be HR violations in every other organization to be happening within the leadership of our city of Minneapolis. And we shouldn't stand for that. So that's what I am hoping to do as we move forward in the city. And that's why I'm running, to then address all of the underlying issues that are pervasive as well.
Mr. Hampton, thank you again for joining me today. For more information about Mr. Hampton's candidacy, you can visit jazzformayor.com. Early voting is underway. You can find that ballot and polling location at vote.minneapolismn.gov. I really appreciate your time today, sir. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It was nice to chat with you.
We have one last break, but lots still to get to here on the Gailey